Now it's official, and this changes everything for the Baltimore Ravens. After days of silence, doubt, and massive anticipation, the team has finally revealed Lamar Jackson's status for the most important game of the season against the Steelers. It's a simple announcement, but one with enormous weight, because it determines whether the playoff dream stays alive or the season ends right now. And the impact of that decision goes far beyond who starts at quarterback. It affects the game plan, the offensive mindset, how the Steelers will prepare, and most importantly, the direction of the entire season. What was decided behind the scenes could completely change what we see on the field. And over the next few minutes, you'll understand why this confirmation is so decisive for the Ravens' future. The confirmation of Lamar Jackson for the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers completely changes the Week 18 outlook for the Baltimore Ravens. After missing the dominant win over the Packers because of back injury, the quarterback is officially cleared on the final injury report and returns at the exact moment when the team has no margin for error. This isn't just a return of the lineup. It's the return of the player who defines the competitive ceiling of this offense. The most symbolic part of this clearance is how the week of preparation unfolded. Jackson practiced normally every single day, something that hadn't happened since Week 10, when the Ravens faced the Vikings. The previous week, he didn't practice at all, which pointed to extreme caution. Now, the coaching staff is signaling real confidence that he can play, compete, and sustain the full offensive plan. This return also radically changes how the Steelers' defense has to prepare. With Tyler Huntley, Baltimore simplified the offense, leaned heavily on a running game, and reduced risk. With Jackson, the playbook opens up, the pace speeds up, and the opposing defense is forced to respect the deep ball, off-platform throws, and the unpredictability that only he provides. And it's exactly this shift in identity that connects Jackson's return to the broader narrative of the Ravens' 2025 season, a year marked by instability, constant adjustments, and a lingering question of how far this team can go when its quarterback is finally available at the most critical moment. Lamar Jackson's return in Week 18 cannot be analyzed in isolation because it's a direct result of a season defined by constant interruptions. The quarterback dealt with a hamstring injury, recurring lower body issues, bouts of illness, and finally the back injury that kept him out against the Packers. None of it allowed for continuity or rhythm throughout 2025. That string of setbacks forced the Ravens to adapt week after week, often simplifying the offense and moving away from more aggressive concepts. The team rarely managed to repeat game plans or build offensive consistency, which helps explain why Baltimore reaches a final week still fighting for a playoff spot instead of sitting comfortably in the standings. Even when Jackson was on the field, he wasn't always operating under ideal conditions, which affected his mobility, reads, and accuracy. That created an outside perception of decline, but internally, the Ravens consistently treated those struggles as a direct reflection of the unstable physical context surrounding his season. That backdrop makes a game against the Steelers even more symbolic, because it's not just about being healthy. It's about trying to reclaim impact in a year where both the numbers and performance fell short of what's expected from a quarterback at this level. From a statistical standpoint, Lamar Jackson's season leaves room for criticism, especially when compared to his best years. In 12 games, he threw for 2,311 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and completed 63.7% of his passes. Solid numbers, but far from dominating headlines or MVP conversations. The main discussion revolves around accuracy and efficiency in key moments, something that became evident in a few close losses. Injuries and lack of rhythm clearly influenced that production, but the debate exists because Jackson's standard has always been higher. When he's on the field, expectations automatically rise. Even so, the numbers don't tell the full story of his impact. Even in quieter games, his presence changes defensive alignments, opens space in the running game, and alters how opponents have to prepare. That explains why the Ravens pushed to get him back when the season was on the line. That gap between statistics and real impact connects directly to how the offense functioned without him in Week 17, when Baltimore won but needed a very specific script just to survive offensively.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
In the 41-24 win over the Green Bay Packers, the Ravens leaned entirely on a running game, and Derrick Henry responded with a historic performance. He carried the ball 36 times for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, in a game plan that essentially removed the passing game from the equation and put the entire offense on the running back's shoulders. While effective in that moment, this kind of approach isn't something Baltimore expects or can repeat week after week. The workload was extreme, the wear is obvious, and relying exclusively on that formula against a prepared opponent is a major risk, especially in a win-or-go-home game. The Steelers, while not an elite run defense, are unlikely to allow the same level of control and repeated explosive plays. Without a consistent threat through the air, the Ravens' offense will become predictable and much easier to contain over 4 quarters. That's exactly why Lamar Jackson's return isn't just a boost, but a structural necessity, because it restores balance to the offense and opens the door to a completely different offensive approach. With Lamar Jackson back, the expectation is a much more aggressive Ravens offense, especially in the passing game. His presence allows for deeper shots, moving outside the pocket, and quick reads that simply weren't available with Tyler Huntley under center. The offense changes personality instantly. That evolution had already started to show before his latest injury, in the Week 16 loss to the New England Patriots. Jackson completed 7 of 10 passes and showed clear signs that he was regaining rhythm and confidence before being knocked out again with a back injury. Now, the chance to resume that progress comes at the most critical moment possible. The equation is simple and brutal. Win and make the playoffs or lose and end the season early. There's no room for snap management, strategic limitations, or excessive caution. Baltimore needs the best version of Lamar Jackson it can get, even if it's not a perfect version. All of this turns a matchup against the Steelers into a true final test, not just of quarterback's health, but for whether he can, in time, recover the level that can save the Ravens season when everything is on the line. By this point, the magnitude of this moment for the Baltimore Ravens is undeniable. Lamar Jackson's return isn't just a medical update. It's the point that defines the entire season's narrative. After months of instability, forced adjustments, and an offense operating on the edge, the Ravens finally have their franchise quarterback back when there is no margin left. Now, everything depends on what Jackson delivers on the field against the Steelers. With him, the offense regains balance, unpredictability, and aggression, elements that simply didn't exist over the past few weeks. Without him playing at a high level, the season ends. It's simple, direct, and brutal, exactly how the NFL works when the moment of truth arrives. And now I want your opinion in the comments. Can Lamar Jackson return at a level high enough to carry the Ravens to playoffs, or does the season end today? Drop your analysis below, because that answer would define not just this game, but the immediate direction of the franchise.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.